What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about implementation intention and how that's going to help us start to get our way out of survival mode. For those of you guys who don't know me, my name is Lara and this is Show Bitch Nation. Welcome in, baby. This is where we talk about healing, growing, building, and we offer a safe space to do so while helping each other, guiding each other, and supporting each other. So if you don't already, make sure you follow, like, subscribe, and let's get into it because we ain't got no fucking time to waste here, baby. Let's start with survival mode. What is it? Most of us recognize survival mode as being in your fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. Really, when you get down to the nitty gritty of it, it means that our nervous system is dysregulated. She's feeling spooked. She don't like what's going on around her, and it ain't for her. Okay. What do the symptoms of survival mode look like? It can look like extreme fatigue. It can look like depression, anxiety, overwhelm. It can look like impulsive action, impulsive spending. It can look like disassociation, just existing, being on autopilot. Those are just some of the symptoms of being in survival mode. Obviously, do your own research, explore it a little further. Now that we understand that we are in a place of survival mode, what do we do? Where do we go? Oftentimes, we already know some of the things that need to change or some of the things that are causing disruption in our lives, but we don't necessarily know how to go about tackling it or what to start on or what to prioritize. And even though there's so many helpful videos online, it can still be extremely overwhelming to find your starting point. So we are here to try and find that today. So this may or may not work for you. If it doesn't, that's okay. But just make sure you at least make the attempt a couple times before you fully give up and try something else. Sometimes it takes a few tries. All right. We understand we're in survival mode. We want to find our starting point. What should we do first? Sometimes the lack of clarity can create a lack of action. And it's not due to laziness or lack of motivation. It's just the unknown. We really don't know where to start, and it's overwhelming. So, what all is going on in our lives that is causing anxiety, stress, sleepless nights, any type of discomfort, any type of overwhelm, any type of negative feeling? What is weighing on your heart, mind, body, soul, spirit? You know what I mean? Write it all down. Your list can be short or it can be super long. It doesn't matter. We're all in different places of our lives and we're all experiencing different things. My list is the longest book. Now that we have our list, we're going to go ahead and start to separate things. We're going to separate things into two separate columns: things that we can control and things that we cannot control. The things that we cannot control typically look like things that involve another party. So, any type of family issues, relationship issues, job issues, anything that depends also on the other person's reaction, response, or the outcome of the situation, you cannot control it. So, all those things are out of your control. The things that are within our control are anything that you can take immediate action on. Anything that would include any type of cleaning, self care, any type of organization, anything that is basically just waiting on you to take action on. Those are things that are within your control. Now, the things that are out of our control, we are acknowledging them. We're not going to forget about them or dismiss them or, avoid them. They're acknowledged and now they're going to be put to the side for a moment. We're going to let go and let God and trust the process and trust that the universe is going to work it out. That's there. And we're going to revert our focus over to this list of the things that are within our control. Now, in that list of things that are within your control, we want to start to look for the things that are going to help bring something in for us, whether it's any type of income, any type of uh, necessity, I should really say. This can look like job applications, resumes. This can look like the applications for food stamps, sending in the paperwork to those things so that you can get health insurance, or you know, again, food stamps or any type of assistance for you and your kids. This can look like going, to that meeting that you've been avoiding, that business meeting. This can look like starting to prepare for a business. This can look like content creation. Anything that can potentially bear fruit and that can produce for you, we want to take note of those things and put them in its own section. And we're going to call this section the planting seeds section. Now we have everything else here, which is the self care, the cleaning, organizing, all that fun stuff, right? That still needs to get done, still a priority. Now we have our two lists. This is where implementation intention comes in. We're going to look at those lists of the two things that are within our control, right? Two lists that are within our control. And we are going to bring it in a little bit more. What all on those lists are one-time tasks? 5-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute tasks, just one-timers. What all on those? And then from that, you are going to obviously prioritize the planting seeds. Now, implementation intention. What is it? Implementation intention is the what, when, and where of an action. So the behavior, the time, and the location. This is where we're going to start to make a plan. Once you have a plan, it is so much easier to take action because your brain, your nervous system is not functioning from a place of the unknown and reacting to the unknown. It is now following the blueprint you just set in place for it: the behavior, the time, the location. Knowing these three things is going to help you follow through on the action more often than not. It's not going to be 100%, but it's going to increase your ability to do what you say you are going to do. And we're going to do it a little at a time. We're going to start with those little one-time tasks that we have been avoiding, that seem so tedious and just blah, I don't want to freaking do it. Those things that we know we've been needing to get done and we've been avoiding, even if it's going to be something that helps us and brings something in for us. This is where I implore you to get on a planner system, whether it's digital, paper. Obviously, you don't have to, but it is going to help so much. I struggled so hard to get on a planner. It was literally like I went through so many planners and just struggled to do so. Just try. When there is the intention and the will to do something, you eventually will figure it out, even in the trial and error phases. Okay. I definitely suggest you getting a daily, hourly planner, okay? Because this is where you're going to write down all of your actions, right? That to-do list where it doesn't look like this big mumbo, like this big huge ass list of shit to do. That's where you're going to start to organize that to-do list and find the time and the places to do it at that fit you and what you need. Start slow and low, baby. Low and slow, baby. You don't have to do too much at one time. Don't overwhelm yourself with a huge project. Start with the little tasks. 1% eventually is going to grow a garden. Okay? A couple seeds at a time. Just a couple seeds at a time. Eventually you will have your garden. If you try and start with this mass fucking field of shit, you are going to be so tired come day one because you don't know how to handle that mass amount of things. Flowers, gardens. So start to figure out the task, the time, and the place. Examples of that look like, why I want to start working out. Okay, that's a broad goal. It is a goal, but it's broad. When are you going to work out? Where are you going to work out? Is it going to be, are you going to have a gym buddy? Or is it just going to be by yourself? Like, what's the plan of action? When you don't have a plan of action, it's a lot easier to forget, to, oh, I was going to go do that, but I ain't feeling it. I'm not going to go. It's a lot harder to derail from your plan when the path is clear. I am going to work out Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. at the Vasa gym. That's a plan. And then I'm going to add to that plan by writing it down or putting it in a digital planner and making it concrete. Now, not only have you helped your brain develop a plan of action, but you have also helped your brain remember it by writing it down. Now, these can be for one-time tasks or for repetitive tasks. I need to submit job applications. Okay, I am going to submit job applications every Monday at 11 a.m. in my office. Or I need to build that resume. Okay, well, I am going to build that resume this Thursday at 10 a.m. at the coffee shop. You're a lot more likely to see an action through when you have a plan of action. This helps avoid derailment, and it also helps avoid procrastination, really and truly. Outcome of this is eventually you will start to not only minimize your list of tasks that you need to do and all those items that were on the list of things that you can control is starting to get smaller and smaller and smaller. And in that process, you are creating routines and systems and habits. And those things are going to help create a safety within ourselves, right? We're starting to become our own constant. Our body is starting to recognize that these actions are safe. And in that recognition, understanding that this is safe to do so, we also start to create a memory of how to do so. And we go into a different type of autopilot. We have the autopilot of disassociation and just existent. That is just reactive behavior. This autopilot it stems from intentional action. Okay, once our body starts to recognize and feel safe doing certain tasks, it starts to do it from memory and it doesn't require any thought process, allowing us the space in our mind and in our brain to focus on the next task at hand. This is how we start to get ahead. This is how we start to become our own constant, our own safety, and how we start to gain a little bit of control over our lives and ourselves again. Another thing I strongly recommend you start to implement into your life, if you haven't already, if you already have it in place, maybe tighten it up a little bit more. Start with a night routine. If you don't have any routines in your life right now, or if you have a morning routine or whatever, focus on that night routine for now. That night routine is going to give you the illusion that you're already a step ahead. When I focused on just morning routines, while sometimes it played out in my favor, there was often times where I couldn't find a sock, or the outfit I thought about wearing that day was dirty, or something happened that set my morning back, and then I still found myself feeling behind and trying to catch up. So let's get a step ahead of it and let's put ourselves ahead of the game by starting the night before. That means preparing ourselves for a successful day and an easy flow morning, putting in a tiny bit more work at night to have a simpler morning, to then have a simpler day, is doing us so many favors that we don't even recognize. This is going to be our starting point. It sounds like a lot. In the grand scheme of things, it's not a lot. It's just a little bit of action and intention at a time, and eventually the garden will flow. Okay. Next week, we are going to do a nation check in and see how it's going for everyone. This is something that I am implementing into my life. I have been for a little while now with certain things. I'm getting a little bit stricter and starting to run a tighter program and starting to even be more methodical with every action and trying to use implementation intention as much as I possibly can. So next week we are going to do a nation check-in and just see how this process is going for everyone, if it helped anyone, or what we can do to make it better. Stay tuned for that. Like I said, if you haven't already, make sure you comment, you like, you share, you subscribe, and let's get into it. For now, make sure you keep it real, keep it chill, keep it trill. Peace out, nation. Love you guys.